Why do you need to take up space? Why do you need to start speaking up your mind? Why do you need to believe that your opinion is actually valid and is worth of defending? Well, so you can be more confident and improve the quality of your life. So you can do things you want to do without the fear of looking stupid or cringy. So you can meet people you are going to be comfortable with. And if you're an artist or a designer or a creative person, so you can defend your ideas so more people can understand them. Hello, my name is Katya, and lately I've been more brave to say my thoughts and opinions out loud, which is, trust me, not something usual or natural for me in the past. I've always been so shy and afraid of saying what do I actually think, especially when it came to speaking to some authorities or people I respect. For example, I could never be so open and free with professors like my classmates or with bosses like my colleagues. I was afraid to discuss things or to debate or, God bless, joke openly. It was hard for me to come up with witty remarks or, all that stuff you wish you said after the conversation is over. It was really difficult for me. But I know I was not like that actually, because with my friends I was myself, and it bothered me that I could not be my genuine self out there, in a grown-up world. Because truly, when you don't say things you actually think, you're not real, you're not genuine. And I wanted to change that so much. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to freely discuss things that interest me with interesting people. I wanted to start my own YouTube channel, after all, without the fear of looking stupid and cringy or what everyone would think about me. And for the last couple of months or years, I managed to improve a lot. Still, probably not the way I dream of or I would be 100% confident about, but I know I'm better now. So today I decided to film this video to share some of my thoughts on a topic and probably share some of my tips of how to get rid of that fear and just start speaking up your mind. First of all, I believe, and in my experience it was totally true, the fear of speaking up lays in the fear of being. The fear of bothering people with your existence. And I don't want to dive into some deep psychology because I'm not a therapist. But to gain courage to speak your mind, you should believe you matter and you should allow yourself to take space, to be, to exist. You are allowed to create. You're allowed to share your creation with people. You're worth listening to, and you're worth of having your own opinion, because your opinion only matters if you believe it does. It's also about trusting yourself whether you're right or wrong. It's about trusting yourself even if you make mistakes, because if you trust yourself, if you really do, then you can face any mistake you did. And what about mistakes? Maybe, and fortunately, you already know that you are worth existing, but you're just afraid to make a mistake. You're just afraid to look stupid or ridiculous. Then, please, open a TikTok or an Instagram and scroll through it. You will hear so much nonsense. And you know what? You will also hear so much interesting and educative and good content out there. That means that each type of content will attract the audience it was created for. You see, the scale of what is considered stupid or smart is truly undefined. The same with television, politics, universities, competitions, you name it. Honestly, growing up just showed me that that is all the same, and the only thing that is changing is probably popularity or barely understandable authority the thing has. So no one actually knows what is right. No one actually knows how to be right, and trust me, everyone is afraid of looking stupid. Just some people learn how to mask that fear. But if you do believe in an objective rightness, and in some situations you bet it exists, please remember that it is totally okay to be wrong, because it's basically the only way how to understand what is right then. Changing your opinions and your worldview is actually the thing you have to do because it is called growth. And even if you make some mistakes, you should not be embarrassed of it. At least in my experience, educated and intelligent people will never judge you for trying to form your own opinion, of course, if it's done politely. For example, why would your professor judge you for being active, for being curious, for being a thinker, for being brave? He would be glad for your mistake because it gives him an opportunity to do his job and teach you something. Same way with bosses and same way with anyone truly. Only narrow-minded people tend to judge you and think they're only ones in right, but we do not care about them, don't we? But with all of that being said, I still can truly understand the fear of losing the respect in the eyes of the person you do respect. So let me return to the topic of authorities here again. And you know what? You are also someone. The person who seems to have bigger authority is just a person who allowed himself to express his opinion more often, more loudly, and just has more experience with it. In a perfect world, it would also be a person who is a real professional and who is really experienced. But it's not always true. Everyone starts somewhere, and I believe that being shy is not actually about good manners, because there is no shame in saying what do you think and learning how to do it properly. When I don't feel confident, my Ukrainian mama always repeats this saying, "Не святі горшки ліплять," which basically translates as ceramic pots are not crafted by saints, which means that even complicated and admirable things are not done by saints, they're done by normal people like you and me. So each time you admire something and you think, oh, I will never ever achieve this, remember that the person who achieved it was also just a human, no saint, no god, just a person like you are. So guys, Ukrainian saints, know the dealio of life.
Know the dealio of life.
And as we're talking about skills, there is my next point. Sometimes we don't say what do we think because we are simply not used to it. We're not used to say it out loud. We are not used to even form it for ourselves. But great news for us, expressing yourself is just a skill you can gain and you can improve. And I believe if you ever conquered any skill in your life, learned how to do something, it would be a relief for you to know that even this expression, this public speaking, is just a thing you can learn. Thankfully, there is no magic in it, and you can achieve it by taking it step by step. So now we know that to be confident in speaking up, we just need to believe that we are worth of doing so, that we can make mistakes because it is okay, and also no one knows what is actually right, because authorities are just confident people with public speaking skills, and by growing your skills, you can become an authority yourself. But unfortunately, an overthinker will always find a thing to worry about, and when we don't worry about making a mistake, we start to worry about being repetitive and unoriginal. Especially in our time, in our social media era, we think that everything was already said. For example, so many people have already shared their opinion on social media about the topic. Why would I contribute to it? Or probably the topic has been already discussed so many times, several times. What can I add to it without being repetitive or unoriginal? And you know, to this overthinking gum, I have an answer. So what? Why not to say it again? Who decides when it is enough of opinions? Like truly, we recycle some ideas since the Middle Ages and no one cares, and there is nothing wrong with it. Especially art and design crave for opinions, for different opinions. Opinions are your unique experience and perception, and they are your weapon and your shield. So even if someone has already said something similar to your opinion, still go on and say your opinion, even if it is repetitive, even if it is not super original or unique. Who cares? Also, I would like to share with you some of my tips or probably challenges that help me in my journey. And the first challenge is to form your opinion. Try constantly asking yourself about things. Ask yourself, what do I think about it? Do I agree with it? What can I learn about it to be more confident? Or how can I challenge my own belief? Like, truly get used to asking yourself things and get used to forming an opinion so you have one. And the next challenge is to gain skill, and the best way to do so is to teach someone something you know best. We really want to get used to the feeling of being in right. We want to practice being confident because, as we know, it is just a skill. For example, I have a part-time job as a Czech tutor. I am fluent in Czech language and I learned it from the scratch. And I know that my experience can also help someone to learn this language. And when I'm with my students, of course, I say things I'm 100% sure about. So being in that position of a tutor just helps me to practice the feeling of being confident, to get used to the feeling that I say right things. And the last challenge is to change the pattern. Each time you have an opportunity, say your opinion. See the reactions and learn that your anxiety was just fooling you. So often our own anxiety just wants to protect us. Little does it know that there is no actual need in it. So we really want to practically see this. We practically want to prove that to ourselves through our experience. To gain courage to try out all those challenges, please remember that people think about themselves the majority of their life. We are so attached to our egos, to our inner discussions, that we may not think anything about anyone. In other words, this is freedom for everyone. So let's enjoy this mutual freedom. I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, as well as I hope it was helpful for you in some way. I would be super glad to read your opinions and your thoughts on the topic in the comments. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.